Are you gonna spend time in the Paddock Club today?
Yes,
And are you with McLaren?
I am.
Okay, I will find you today.
Yeah, please, that would be great.
Let's have a coffee together.
Anyone else's dog just kind of refused to get in the car at the end of a walk? Well, I don't blame her if I'm honest. Hello one and all, welcome to Seen Through Glass. This weekend is the British Grand Prix. F1 is coming to Silverstone and Pirelli have very kindly invited me to watch qualifying with them and take part in one of their hot lap experiences. So I thought to make the most out of the invitation, I would borrow this 750S from McLaren so that I could drive it to and from Silverstone. This actually marks the start of quite a lot of McLaren content across my channels over the next few weeks. Something I'm not really going to complain about though, because I am fully back on board with this brand. Lots of you know I love the 765 LT and I really enjoyed the Artura Coupe when I drove it. Now that the Formula 1 team is starting to do well, it just feels like an exciting time for the brand. And this thing, well, it's supposed to be, or at least I think of it, it's like a 765 LT Touring. Externally, it just looks like a 720S, but under the skin, they've changed quite a lot and taken quite a few parts from the LT. So long story short, I'm super excited to be spending some time with this thing. Now, the only thing to mention is that I'm not really going to be reviewing this car this week. There's just too much going on, people. So what I've done is I've booked in a 750S Spider for later in the year that I can properly put through its paces and test drive. Test the suspension straight away though, going across the Cattle Bridge as we leave the park. But it's not to say we're not going to be doing some spirited driving, and I'm not going to not give you any feedback on this car. I've actually already done 450 miles in it. I picked it up a couple of days ago, and yesterday I had to drive up to Wakefield for another project I'm working on. I thought, hey, why don't I take this? So I did a lot of quite boring, wet motorway miles, and then some very aggressive driving for the project that I'm working on, and it didn't put for wrong, this car. I gotta be honest, it's less LT than I was expecting, but the 720S was already a fantastic car, and one of its USPs was its kind of breadth of abilities, and this car still has that. It was as good at the early morning wet motorway driving as it was in the sunshine when we were really cracking on in the afternoon. So yeah, so far, very good. Anyway, once I get out of this junction, I've got a few errands to run before we leave bright and early tomorrow morning for day one at Silverstone. So yeah, first up, into town for a little shopping. Well, that was actually a bit of a fail. I wanted to get a tripod for my phone so I can use it for some filming over the weekend, and they were sold out of the one I wanted. So I've got one that looks, well, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I also wanted to pick up a piece from the Reese / McLaren Racing collab that they've done. It looks like it's going to be a little bit cold this weekend, so I thought I'd grab a nice hoodie, but they were all sold out. It's also time for me to go and pick up my daughter from nursery, so let's wrap things up today. And we'll start again tomorrow, as I said, bright and early, to make our way up to Silverstone in this 750S. Well, good morning. It's another beautiful July day here in the UK. Having said that, this weather might make the on-track F1 action a little spicy, so I'm not going to complain too much. That was Mana Coffee, which opened up near the podcast studio. Actually, I don't know how long ago, but it's amazing. The coffee is delicious. They always have amazing snacks. So if you're over in Kingston upon Thames, southwest London, go check it out. Honestly, it's one of my new faves. Now, I'm not actually going to be driving into the Silverstone circuit today. I won't bore you with the logistics, but I'm getting a shuttle from, well, I don't know, somewhere that's relatively nearby. Tomorrow, I'll drive this car into, well, kind of close to the paddock, which will be kind of cool. But it means, yeah, I got about 65 miles to do this morning to my shuttle pickup point. And this weather, it's really not a bad thing. In this car, you might think, oh my God, McLaren 750S, it's got 740 horsepower, it's rear-wheel drive. That must be terrifying in the rain. But as I learned a few days ago, this thing is totally fine. We're on the standard Pirelli P0s, not the Trofeo Rs or the new Trofeo RSs, although I'm not sure you can get them on a 750S just yet. So they're totally fine. And yeah, the car, it's very easy to modulate the throttle and the power. It's fine in all conditions. I think, 20 years ago, driving a car like this on a day like this would have been a surprise, but they're so capable, these things, it's outrageous. So I'm going to kick back, enjoy my delicious Mana coffee, go find my shuttle. There is some sunshine trying to break through those clouds. Things are starting to look up, people. It has been quite a miserable drive so far, but yeah, just every now and again I get these little rays of sunshine just coming through this window, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Anyway, I wanted to provide a little bit more feedback on this car. I know I said that this wouldn't be a dedicated test drive video, but I'm learning things about the 750S all the time, and I just want to share it. Firstly, I still get frustrated by McLaren's fuel range indicator. It's like hypersensitive. I think it's based on like the last 5 or 10 miles of driving, where most other cars maybe based it on the last 50. It just means that you're constantly getting different estimates of range. Okay, fine, I've got pretty much a full tank this morning, so I'm not worried. But when you start to get down towards a quarter of a tank, if you're driving relatively fast on a back road, it will say that you've got 15 miles left. You think, oh my God, I've got to find a fuel station. Then you join the motorway and suddenly it goes, nope, you've got 110. So I just like, I wonder why they haven't changed that over the years. Because in terms of actual MPG, this car's relatively good. I've done, unbelievably, 690 miles of this thing since I picked it up from the McLaren Technology Centre a few days ago, and I've been averaging 17 MPG across those 700 miles, because as I mentioned, I have done some spirited driving. On this journey alone, let's just cycle through the onboard computer, I've been doing 25 mpg. So on these long runs, it can be quite good. When I went up to Wakefield, I actually saw 30.8. So it can be kind of economic. So yeah, it just annoys me that that range is always all over the place. Positives, visibility is fantastic. We've lost the kind of glass panels that you used to get on the 720S above your head within the door, but it's still, there's so much light, so much visibility, it's great. These are the bucket seats. I'm not sure they're the most extreme seats that you can get. I just don't like the angle of them. You can move them forward and back, and then there's not really any other adjustability that I've discovered. So I just feel like I'm leaning back a bit too much, and everything seems to be sort of pressuring down on my kind of hips and pelvis. I feel like I'm developing a hernia. So yeah, I don't love this. I probably wouldn't option them if I was buying the car. Doesn't they look great? But yeah, I'm not finding them fantastic. Aside from that, sound system really good. It could go a bit louder, but it's very, very good. It's Bowers and Wilkins. And yeah, as I have already discovered, and as I've already told you, it is so at home and comfortable in a journey like this, which you would never expect for this level of supercar. It does this mundane, wet motorway mileage so well. The ride is spectacular. Cabin noise, pretty good. Lots of positives, but just there's still a few little niggles that I'm like, oh. Anyway, I'm only about 20 miles now from my shuttle pickup point, and we'll be heading into Silverstone, and fingers crossed yeah, it's going to get a little bit drier. The rain is easing up. The rain is easing up. What an absolutely awesome first day at the British Grand Prix. So much happened that I couldn't show you. F1 are quite restrictive in terms of what you're allowed to film. I was able to go down to the McLaren garage. I saw Lando Norris, saw Charles Leclerc, saw Lewis Hamilton, saw Brad Pitt. Yeah, very freaking cool. It's just the start. Tomorrow is obviously qualifying, and when I get to have my hot laps experience, which I'm very excited about. Now, the weather has turned pretty grim again. It's pretty heavy rain, but I've got dinner about 30 minutes down the road, so of course I'm going to take the 750S. I thought I'd bring you along with me, and we'll try and do some driving, and I'll show you how capable this thing is in all conditions as we head, yes, onto some country lanes towards the dinner spot. McLaren can continue to keep this insane ride quality as they up performance and dynamic. It's mind-boggling. These are very bumpy roads, and this car just glides over them. If I was in my GT3 this evening, I'd be like, oh, whoa. If I was in the Challenge Dalia, I'd have been just slipping and sliding. The traction control on this thing is also super impressive. And then, of course, we have to mention the tyres, which, of course, is what's giving us the majority of the grip. So, yeah, a 30-minute drive to dinner. Pretty good fun. I mean, I know I wasn't cracking on that much, but very enjoyable indeed. I think this is where I will sign off for today. We've got an early start, so we drive into Silverstone for real tomorrow for my hot laps experience, which I hope and I think is going to be in a McLaren. And if luck is on our side, a 750S. But let's wait and see. Good morning. You find me inside the Silverstone circuit. Never doubt the enthusiasm and the passion of the British motorsport fan. It is 8:45. It is absolutely chucking it down. The weather is horrific, 14 degrees Celsius and so wet. Qualifying isn't until 4 p.m. Yet there are thousands of people streaming into this track. I absolutely love it. The traffic getting in was pretty hectic. I don't know if you can see outside, people have got their brollies up, their raincoats on, and they are ready for a full day. It just feeds my excitement, my appetite for the day. But yes, I'm rushing in early for this hot laps experience, so I get to park up in the paddock car park. I do want to have a little look around and see what team members have bought to this year's race. We'll do that maybe post the actual hot laps experience, because I'm running a little bit late. So yeah, let's get there and I guess go and find the Pirelli team. Mika, I'm Sam.
Where are you from, Sam?
I'm from London.
Hey.
I have to say it's a big honor to meet you because I spent my childhood watching you race.
Oh, that's so cool.
But embarrassingly, I was a bit of a Michael fan. I hope that doesn't make things awkward. So this is very, very special for me. So thank you very much. Perfect conditions, huh?
Oh yeah. This car is very tricky on wet.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I actually got to drive one. I borrowed one from McLaren and took it to Wales in this weather. So I understand.
What are you doing then?
Oh, I do a very bad version of do you know Top Gear? Do you remember that British?
Yeah, of course.
I did a very bad version of it on YouTube. So I review cars.
Oh, you doing that kind of thing?
That kind of thing, but
That's great.
it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
What the people following?
My mum, my mum and my sister and a few other people.
Oh, I think I recognize your face. When I'm looking at you. Yeah.
You're being polite now.
Well, because I have 5 kids.
Okay.
They are looking all kind of things, you know.
Oh, here we go.
And what cars do you have in there?
I have a Ferrari, a 2004 360 Challenge Stradale. For me, this is my all-time favorite car.
Oh,
And then a new Porsche, a Porsche GT3.
is that because you have done this YouTube thing, you earn money?
Yeah, it's a crazy world. It's a really crazy
That's
world.
beautiful, man. That's
So, well, thank you. And do you still have your P1?
I have still my P1.
Yeah.
I have my Speedtail still.
Oh, okay, you have the Speedtail as well. Wow.
Yeah.
The P1 is a little scary, huh? Yeah, but in a great way. I mean, not for you maybe. For me, for you maybe it's very tame, but...
Hey, are you gonna spend time in the paddock club today?
Yes,
And are you with McLaren?
I am.
Okay, I will find you today.
Yeah, please, that would be great.
Let's have a coffee together.
That would be fantastic.
And I tell you a little bit what we do.
Okay,
And this could be, for you, could be very interesting.
sure, I'd love that.
And interested to hear your opinion.
Okay, let's have a chat, that would be great. Wow, this is speed now, 150.
Sweat. I mean, this car is like a...
Yeah, it's there we go. Wow, very special, very special. They've changed this half from when you were racing. This
That's
is
true. That's true. Oh,
Whoa, taking the racing line now, Mika. Very cool.
hey,
Thank you so
find
much.
you today. I really want to meet you properly.
Oh, of course. Well, we'll have a conversation, but this, we'll say, was very special. Enjoy the rest of your drive. Be safe, huh?
It's slow, but...
No, slow but fun, trust me. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
I'm not sure how much of that would have come across, how much the microphones picked up. I think me and Mika Hakkinen have just become best friends. Like, honestly, I wasn't even really focusing on the drive. I was just chatting, and he was like, I want to talk to you after this. I was like, I want to talk to you. What just happened? What is my life? But very cool experience, and yeah, the conditions are terrible. So actually, it was nice to have a conversation with Mika Hakkinen instead of necessarily focusing on the drive. But yeah, that Arturo just wanted to step out over these hot lap experiences. You never know who you're going to end up in a car with. I've done one with Esteban Ocon. I've done one with Nico Hulkenberg, and now Mika Hakkinen. Thank you for that. Fairly outrageous. This week's been a bit silly, hasn't it? I've really been living my best life. Driving around in this, £300,000 McLaren. Coming up here to the F1, getting amazing hospitality, having a hot lap with 2-time F1 World Champion Mika Hakkinen. Yeah, hard to beat. Luckily, I've got this moment right now to bring me back down to earth. Because everyone's inside watching the Euros football, England versus Switzerland. There's then dinners and parties, etc. But I'm sitting in a car park, editing this video for you to all enjoy. I mean, I'm not really complaining. I'm still sitting in a McLaren, and I love editing, and I'm happy to do it. So it's not really a negative, but basically there's work involved. You guys have definitely seen the highlights, and I'm having fun 99% of the time. But I'm also working hard. Just trying to justify how much fun I've had. Let's move on. Let's have a quick look at the onboard computer. I'm going to have done about 850 miles in this car by the time I hand it back to McLaren. That's quite a lot. This wasn't supposed to be a test drive, but considering I've covered that much ground, I feel like I have experienced the car in lots of different ways and learned quite a lot about it. I mean, overall, super positive. I have really enjoyed having the keys to this thing, and I am going to struggle to kind of give it back because it's just performed so well in so many situations. I do want to really hold final judgment until I've really pushed on in the Spider later in the year to really understand where it differs from 720S and 765 LT, because that's the part I still don't think I know. And I picked up on a few other things that I want to spend time working out. There's a few rattles in here, which I have to say I'm not that much of a fan of. A few loose panels and things, which tiny bit disappointing, but let's see what happens on the Spider. Overall, over 850 miles, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for this thing. It has been fantastic and not really put a foot wrong apart from those small rattles. But anyway, I'm going to wrap things up so that I can just dive into this edit and try and get it completed before the next things that I have to do. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. A bit of a different one, a bit of a different take. But anyway, if you have, give it a thumbs up. Stay subscribed because lots more content to come.